Good morning and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are expressing or explaining Algebra 6, example 6 and 7. And this one is under indices. And indices, sometimes you call them the powers over a certain number. Superscript, they are superscripts of numbers because they take the position of top right of that number. So under negative indices, or rather under indices, we know the laws of indices. We have explained them in chapter 1, which is numbers 6. And here we are faced by the same kind of challenge. And in example 6, we are told to work out the value of 27 raised to power 2 over 3. 27 raised to power 2 over 3. And we don't need space here because in this one, we realize that, let me just work it out here. 27 raised to power 2 over 3. This is 6a. And 3 is at the denominator position. So we are going to get the third root of 27 where we shall square everything. So the cube root of 27 and everything squared according to a certain law of index or indices. The cube root of 27 is obviously a 3, but let's see that. 3 shift 27 is a 3. So 3 squared is a 9. And that is the answer to part example 6, part A. What about part B? Part B, we have 16 raised to power minus 3 over 4. Again, in the same way, we know that now this one is a negative index. And every time we are faced by a negative index, we talked about the reciprocal or the fraction of that number, which is 1 out of 16, which is again raised to power 3, not now minus 3 over 4. And this gives us or brings us to a point where we have 1 out of the fourth root of 16, after which we shall cube it. And the fourth root of 16 is simply 2. And after we cube the 2, now this is 2 cubed, which is 1 over 8. We can still work with it the way it is. Let's just have something else here, something different here. Instead of getting the reciprocal first, we can still have the fourth root of 16, or this is an alternative method, after which we raise it to power minus 3. And you know that the fourth root of 16 is a 2, and it is 2 we raise to now power minus 3. And this is now when we introduce the fraction, which is 1 over 2 cubed, which is now 1 over 8. That is it. And that is the end of the story as far as that one is concerned. Let's now go to example 7. Example 7 is we are having part A, part B. Example 7, part A. As you can see it, we have a raised to power a half times a raised to power a half times a. This one we just use law 1, and it is a. The base is the same because we are all talking about a, and a, but the indices according to law 1 should be added together, whereby we get a raised to power a half plus a half plus a 1, because the last one is just a raised to power 1, which is a raised to power 2, which is a squared. And that is just it. That is just it. What about part B? Part B of example 7. Part B of example 7 talks of part B of example 7, 3a squared times 2a raised to power minus 3. This one, we just have to take a bit of care because the constants themselves, we have coefficient of the a's. Coefficient of a is 3 here, and we have a coefficient of a raised to power negative 3, which is a 2. The numbers in front of it, those one must be multiplied together to give us 6. And then the a, which are similar and common, they are the bases. Then we have a raised to power what? 2 plus minus 3, because we are multiplying these two terms. And this is where we should take care. We have 6a. What is 2 plus minus 1? 2 plus minus 1, 2 plus negative, not minus 1, but minus 3. Negative 3 is negative 1. 2 plus negative 3, which is negative 1. And as you can see, this is 6 over a raised to power 1. That is part B of the question. What about part D? Part C rather. What about part C rather? Part C of number 7, it's asking 6a raised to power minus 2. 6a, it's here. Part C is here. 6a raised to power minus 2, the whole of this divided by 2a squared. The whole of that divided by 2a squared. Okay, let's see. We have this bracket does really not make sense here, because there would have been a power outside the bracket. That power is supposed to be affecting 6 as well, but there is no power, it's just 1. So we can rewrite the whole thing as 6a minus 2 divided by 2a2. And again, constant, the whole numbers, 6 divided by 2 is a 3. Let's see, 6 divided by 2 is a 3. A raised to power minus 2 minus 2. Why minus? Because a raised to power minus 2 is divided to a raised to 2. And anytime we are having such a situation, then we get the difference of the indices. So this is a, or rather 3a raised to power minus 4. If you write it in another form, then we are going to have 3 over a raised to power 4. And I think that is just what we were to have as far as part C is concerned. Let's look at part D now, and you can all see part D, which is here. Part D is talking of a squared over b raised to power 4, everything raised to power negative a half. Power negative a half. And as you can see here, there is a fraction which is raised to a negative index. What we know from the previous videos and understanding is that if you want to make this power positive, then we must flip the fraction, that is a squared over b raised to power 4. And this takes us to a point whereby we are having b4 all over a squared raised to power a half. So we have flipped this fraction to this such that now the power or the index which they were sharing is now positive a half. And now we can simply deal with each one of them independently. And we have always known that if a is raised to power a, which is raised to power b again, this is a raised to power ab. So we have to have the product of both indices. So it is go without saying that it is b raised to power 4, whereby 4 is to be multiplied by half, which is a 2, and a 2 to be multiplied by a half is just a 1, and we are having our final submission is b squared over a. And that is the end of example 6 together with example 7. Thank you.